Welcome to our next installment of Daryo Talks. I'm Tony, and joining me today is one of the most inspirational people I have had the chance to meet, Nafisa Feeney. Nafisa, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me here.
Well, you have quite a lot of hats, it seems, in your professional life. Do you mind giving our audience a little bit of a rundown of what you do and how you got to being where you are?
Yeah, well, it was a long journey, I would say. I'm a lawyer, first of all. I have a legal background. I graduated the University of World Economy and Diplomacy here in Tashkent. I had a bachelor in law, master in law, PhD in law. Oh, wow. Everything was in Uzbekistan. And I was a partner of a law firm. I also have extensive experience in working with international intergovernmental organizations like ADB, UNDP, UNODC, and others. I had my PhD actually was on insurance law, and I worked as a vice CEO in the gross insurance company for a while, and I was a professor at the university. I was a professor it was a lawyers training center. At that time it was under the Minister of Justice. I gave lectures and trainings for lawyers, advocates and judges. So that was all my career, and my work was in Uzbekistan. At the age of 40, I decided that I want to do something different. You know, that the feeling that maybe any professional has in its life in some certain age or the stage of development. I had a feeling that I have reached my ceiling, I would say, and I wanted to add a new experience, a new knowledge, maybe a new challenge, I would say. And I applied to Brunel London University. So I graduated it, and it was a diploma on terrorism financing and anti-money laundering. There was a quite interesting experience being in 40. You go to a new country, completely different approach in education.
Yes.
After that, I applied for a job that was a regulator. In Kazakhstan, they opened AFC, so there was for promotion of investments in the country, in that part of the Central Asia. So there was a quite interesting, I would say, experience of work with different culture. Even if Kazakhstan is in a Central Asia, people think that the countries are similar and people are similar, but it's not. And I was a head of legal, so being a head of legal is challengeable itself. You have a different, diverse people in a team with a different background, different expectations. I really enjoyed that work. And I was supposed to work there and to continue to work there. However, my husband, fiancé at that time, Simon, he came and proposed me. And even at that time, I wasn't going to come to UK, where I am now, and live and work in London. I was the tickets that I booked was for 10 days just to marry and go back. Because when we spoke with Simon, my husband's name is Simon. So when we spoke with him, we decided that, I have already a job. What I will do in UK, all my previous experience would be and start from the beginning. While my job is secured, my youngest son was at Haileybury. He was graduating. It wasn't a time to move a country for a man, even the best one in the world. So we decided that Simon will move to Kazakhstan, and I even started to look for a job for him because he's from oil and gas, and Kazakhstan is about oil and gas. So we decided. And the date of wedding itself was 20th March 2020, when Boris announced lockdown, and I was literally locked in the country. So I never went back to Kazakhstan. I worked 9 months in a lockdown in like just literally at home, online. So working on with all this time difference from 4 a.m. every day was quite challengeable itself. And after my contract ended, I decided not to extend it. I stayed in UK and was quite lucky because the friend of mine and my customer from the law firm from the previous experience, he has opened a new project in UK, and he invited me to be a head of compliance. To be honest, I never considered the career in a compliance sphere because I was thinking arrogantly that lawyers are above all that. Because, you know, in Uzbekistan, in here, compliance is something, I would say, without offending anyone, is like a notary. You just compare the documents with legislation and that's it.
Yeah.
While in UK, it's much more broader profession. And it came up that I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed my time working there because compliance in UK is on the top of all the business processes in a company, starting from the IT, tech parts, controls, rules, systems, everything, and finishing like from the onboarding, transaction monitoring, like all the auditing,
can't function
implementation.
without it.
Yes, completely. You are in charge of everything, and this helps you to understand how the company works. And that was for me. Like, if you want to have a challenge, I thought, like, Nafisa, listen, you
Why
are
not?
Yeah, you are in here. So, and then the company saw my energy, and they invited me to another their project that was a main project, and they started to prepare me to the role of Money Laundering Reporting Officer. And having a PhD, 2 masters, I decided to go back to school again.
As you do.
Yeah, and it was the International Compliance Association. I got a diploma on on international anti-money laundering diploma. Was a complete 9 months, like 4 assessments. Everything was done. I got a diploma, and then we applied for authorization to the FCA. The regulator, how does it work in UK, is any financial institution, they have to have an MLRO. I know that Uzbekistan is the same at the moment, on the same page with that. And if the company, the financial institution does have a gap in between, like they don't have an MLRO for the certain of time, it could jeopardize the license, and they could put in a risk of the license of for the regulator. So that's quite a responsible and should be trustful position. We cannot just hire someone as an MLRO because you can if you are not sure that this individual would be authorized by the regulator.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you cannot resign the MLRO just because not having any replacement for that. So this is quite. So I am on a register of the FCA, and after working for a while, I was headhunted by someone on LinkedIn. That's why I always tell that be present in social media.
It makes a difference.
Continue going on interviews, no matter how perfect your job is. It's on to understand what's your value on the market, and to practice your interview skills. And also, it's a good question, what the market demands are at the moment. What questions do they ask? Maybe you are outdated. Maybe what you do at the job is not, there is no necessity in that at the moment. So that's why, like, I went for a couple of interviews, and I was just simply headhunted, and the position was really that was proposed was good in terms of it was another level of responsibility. Executive director, chief compliance officer / MLRO. So that was how I'm here, what I'm doing.
Well, then, how, for you, could you give a brief kind of overview of what it is in terms of what is money laundering? What steps do you take to prevent that from happening within your role?
Yeah. That's really a good topic. I can speak endlessly on that, but I'll try to summarize that.
Yeah.
AML stands for anti-money laundering. It refers to the set of laws, regulations, procedures that prevent criminals from disguising of illicitly obtained funds as a legal income. It's like just briefly. The strong AML measures, they help to combat financial crimes such as bribery, corruption, drug trafficking, terrorism financing, that are also very important for Uzbekistan and for the region itself, from my experience of working in all these international intergovernmental organizations. So which can all these crimes, they can I would say to make it difficult for the stability and the integrity of the region itself. So that's why it's very crucial and it's very important. And the MLRO's position in all this system is, I would say, is one of the important one. We have a quite in UK regulated environment. We have quite key responsibilities, including developing and implementing policies and procedures on AML, CFT, counter-terrorist financing. We are responsible for implementing, monitoring, overseeing, and auditing of all these procedures in accordance with the regulations, international standards, and everything. And UK has a different approach than I think in Uzbekistan. It's a risk-based approach mostly. So many rules are risk-based. Each company decides for itself in the framework of regulation, of course, to manage their risks and expect. And that's why also the MLRO's position is very difficult from one point of view, because I'm from completely different legal system. So the rules are written. There are a lot of written, and most of them are mandatory, while you can imperative, we would say, things. And here you just should balance business and risks. And also you can write, as I used to say, you can write the perfect policies and procedures. You can implement the perfect controls mechanism and others. Would it help to develop your company? Yeah, so that's actually that's what I do. And another thing is that MLRO is someone that have a liability. It's a legal liability on reporting the suspicious activity to the authorities. So
it's a big responsibility.
It is, because I'm responsible for receiving internal, we call it SARS, receiving internal SARS, evaluate these SARS, and submit them. We have this is an online platform. They recently developed it and changed a lot. So it is to submit them to NCA, National Crime Agency. We also have a responsibility, and this is out of the, there is no risk approach for that. This is on a sanctions. So if I can see, or if I have the information that we are having a sanctioned individual, sanctioned entity, or the funds that go to sanctioned individual entity or from, we need to freeze the account, freeze the funds, and report to OFSI. Straight away, yeah. If with the adverse media, it's for the company's risk appetite to decide what they're going to do. We have the PEPs, political exposed persons, and all these kind of like alerts and red flags. Sanctions are out of the... So this is a huge responsibility. We are also responsible for trainings. Trainings, awareness in a company and everything. So the person that working in a financial sector wouldn't say that I wasn't aware that I need to report this. I saw the suspicions during onboarding. I allow that. So this is on responsibility of the CCO and MLRO. And also we are responsible for reporting on a yearly basis. It depends. It's not written in the regulation as well, but I would say it's a good practice to do it once a year, to report to the board, because if you have a lack of funds, lack of budget, you are short of and you are understaffed, it's also your responsibility because you didn't requested the board to increase to do your job, to do the enhanced due diligence on the companies or individuals. Yes, to facilitate your work. This is like in a general, but for MLRO, for chief compliance, MLRO is also responsible. I didn't say that, and I should have said that at the beginning, is about risk assessment. Because as I told, all is about risk assessment. We have enterprise-wide risk assessment, like policy, procedures, and everything. So you need to assess the risks of the company. And if MLRO is responsible only for financial crime risks, CCO is responsible for every risk. Everything, starting operational resilience, wind down planning, the new one that FCA now has in UK is consumer duty, vulnerable customers. So that's all is on the CCO. And this is a new thing in a regulator now. When you are applying for a license and you are getting a license, the companies, the firms, they request now not just only to submit the documents, the individuals, the senior managements, they have to pass the interview with the regulator. This is this is a new thing that they implemented recently. And as far as I know, I was passing on the interviews with the FCA. I would say that it's quite complicated because the MLRO should be ready to answer. There are already companies, the consultancy companies that work on that. They sell they provide this kind of services to assist the companies to go through that. So what they do there, they could ask question to MLRO not only about the money laundering, what is it, terrorist financing, how you report your SARS and everything. It could be a tech-related question about controls, because if you do not understand how the rules work in the system itself, what the thresholds are putting on the different, or what are the flags, red flags are there, how you can monitor that, how you can be in charge of that and control that. So it's impossible. And the same things could be asked from the CO, for example. CO cannot just say, I will ask my MLRO, she knows what does money laundering.
They need to know.
Yes. So this is one of the recent developments in the system.
Do you think they put this in place now because it helps everybody hold each other accountable?
Yeah, I think that because of the increase of money laundering worldwide, and UK is on the ahead of the planet on that. So yeah, they're trying to do that. And well, basically regulators' aim and their work is to protect the customers.
Yeah.
When there is a lot of increase of the fraud, and the fraudsters and the criminals, they are developing quicker than the legislation and the professionals in the area. You're talking about AI, they already use their AI. Someone could call you and speak with the voice of your mom saying, I'm in a trouble, just give me funds and everything. And so the regulator is trying to put all in place by making responsible the companies itself. And there is a huge money now at the moment for the big budgets for the compliance, because there are a lot of, in UK, for example, there are a lot of consultancy companies that work on different aspects. You should pass the audit. You should pass an internal audit, external audit. There is a new law operation resilience. Have you seen the scenarios? What can happen? What if there will be another pandemic? Are the customers protected enough for that? And so, yeah, that's a huge and interesting work to do.
Yes, very interesting, very intricate, and full of responsibility. It's incredible that you're able to withstand all of that pressure and still come and talk about it with so much enthusiasm.
I'm passionate on my job, so yeah.
That's important.
On everything that I do, I would say. Thank you.
Well, how do you see the policies, procedures that are in place in the UK, do you see room for Uzbekistan? Uzbekistan does have an AML here, but how could they improve it?
Yeah, well, for me it's a bit complicated to talk about this topic because, as I told, the system is completely different. It's a long way to go in this sector. However, I could say from what I've seen for Uzbekistan companies, individuals, and to be integrated in the worldwide financial system, there are some challenges for them. And basically, what do the companies in UK and in Europe they look on? It's just to look on the position of the country in AML. I know that Uzbekistan is improving every day, and it's a huge achievements there. There is a big achievements in that. Basel index is 5.71, I don't remember, just like nearly so it's really good rate, 47 I think on its place. So what do we as UK regulated entities look first of all when we on board or during the transactions and everything? In assessment of the risks, there is a big impact is the position of the country in these AML rates in the indices. I would say Basel index, I already named it, and FATF's rates are really very important because each time when the country goes through the evaluation and it goes and it is on the ratings, bank providers, financial institutions, they check their internal policies in accordance with that. So, for example, last year we have seen that Croatia and Bulgaria, being an EU country, they went to the high-risk third countries list as because of the FATF. So, what can the country do itself is just to keep working on that. And another thing is a bit sensitive towards after the 2022, I would say, it's with the sanctions issues. At the moment when all this happened, UK and USA, they were even thinking and were talking about on the different conference dedicated to sanctions, they were talking about the putting secondary sanctions for the countries that promote and help to. But at the moment they decided that they can't do that because these countries are, I would say, they have the economic connections with Russia. They cannot just cut off and to punish the countries. Well, it's not an impossible. There is nothing impossible, but there were already the cases in a history when the countries didn't do that and put the sanctions to the countries because they were thinking about the impact for the economy of the region itself. So that would be there would be a very negative impact of the for the whole region itself. So that's why it's happening. But the country should be cautious on that and not to jeopardize the financial economic system in terms of that. That's only my own opinion.
No, but a few
to
entities here have already been put under sanctions because of financing certain things.
Yes. So that's one of the thing is that some kind of institution, they wouldn't think about the one entity or two entities. It will be for the whole country.
A blanket.
It was a blanket because people, they wouldn't go into the details. It can be me go to the details because I'm professional, but say like shareholders or someone that they read the news that they entered and they would say well, we are not going to invest in a region. We are not going to do that in a region because
it's too risky.
Yeah, because it is too risky. It's too high risk. So we don't want the accounts to be blocked in the future because of because sanctions. We were
No. And that makes sense. You have to be cautious when coming in. And here's hoping that private entities in Uzbekistan would work towards being a little bit safer with their moves forward and endeavors. Well, let's quickly jump now. You have a YouTube channel.
Yes, I have a YouTube channel. I'm really passionate on that as well. and it calls Books Sommelier. I read books and I give the book reviews on this channel. Mostly they are on English history, UK history, because sometimes we film in Scotland. In other parts. Yes, we did. We got. That's actually was the biggest view on that. 100,000 views was on that. It was in a Holyrood Palace. We got the permission to film inside the palace, and that was. I'm really proud of that. That not being a historian. On my education is illegal, but I always was passionate on history. And I was when I moved to a country, I was reading about the place where I live to understand the culture, to understand what's going on, and it really inspired me. And I wanted to. Previously in Uzbekistan. I will just give a short introduction on the journey as well. In Uzbekistan, I was an author of radio channel. It was Book Tashkent. And I was telling about the book reviews in Tashkent. I had a lot of followers at that time, and I enjoyed it because I really enjoyed talking about books and inspire people to read and motivate them for reading, because it's amazing. People should to read more. And I was never lazy or like tired to answer to the questions on, you mentioned that book, I just missed it, what did it call? And then it came up to open my Telegram channel. I wouldn't say that there is a lot of followers on a channel, but people are writing, and it's quite a small group, and I understand it's a niche.
Yeah.
And after that, when I moved to London, I just rename a channel London Book, because it's about books and about London itself. And then it came up for me, like I always wanted to tell the story. I mean, not just the writer's story, but to tell that. And just sitting in a speaking head, I thought it's not that interesting just because I'm already there. I can show the places. I can show the Tower of London and say, hey, here is like where the place where the Princess of a Tower has been kept, like when the Richard III, or maybe it wasn't Richard III, all this kind of the conspiracy theories and everything. It made me like really exciting. So all my free time I dedicate to going to the different places, to walk on the monasteries, on churches, cathedrals, on the old houses, learning, talking to people as well. So I think it's very exciting. The world is full of different adventures.
I wanted to ask now, you have boundless energy, it seems. And do you think that this has been an asset for you? Because in the legal system, in financing, in anti-money laundering, from what I've seen, it's a pretty male-dominated sector. How have you managed to navigate all of this?
Oh, thank you. That's a really good question, I would say, because we have a group in London. It's we call it Female Financial Crime Fighters, FFC. So it's ladies. They are on the COs, CCOs, MLROs in the financial sector, professionals, authors of the books. Like one lady is just like, she wrote a book about crypto, and so they're amazing personalities. So, but they all are females, and we gather to the group once a month. We meet each other. And we talk these kind of stories. How do we navigate in the male-dominated society, not only here in Uzbekistan, but in UK, and some others come from US and everything. So once a month we just sit, gossip, talk stories. We say like, no, it's exchange of information. Yes. And one of them is also how to navigate, how to motivate each other. And you know what I have seen, the tendency is, and with the successful people in this area, when they don't see the difference, these gender differences. I mean, I think I was really lucky because my parents raised me not like a future bride, future wife, future killen, or future mother, just a person. They didn't have this difference in the gender. I have never heard from my dad, and I think the figure of father is very important in this. I have never heard about my dad like, you're a girl, you shouldn't do this, or you're a girl, you should, or you have to do that. Never ever have heard that in my childhood, and that's why probably this gives you a kind of confidence, I would say.
It empowers you.
Yes, it empowers you. You never have this kind of in mind that I can't do that because I'm just a woman. Never.
Or you're not supposed to do it.
Or I'm not supposed to do that just because I'm a woman. You should be brave now, but it's not about being brave. Being brave, it means like you need to step over something. But being confident, it means that you don't look at these things as an unusual.
You just walk through it.
If I'm only one in a group that are in a court, and you are coming in a court and all are men, you don't see this difference because so what?
I'm just as capable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that helped me a lot. Maybe just when I was a lawyer and a consultancy, I know that it's quite different when you work for a public sector and you are a woman and all. But when you are a professional in your field, people come not because of your gender or in spite of your gender. They come for professional advice. They come to you because you can take this case to the court and to make the settlement that is more profitable for the company, and it's it. They come for your expertise and your reputation. So I think that it's different. However, I would say when I worked for first and only once in a time when I faced this, that I'm a woman, it was an international organization. That's surprisingly, I didn't pass an interview, and people that, it was an internal information from my ex-colleagues, friends that were there. They told, the guy just prefers men. It's nothing with you. It was
oh wow.
Yeah. And he told, the thing is that the project's supposed to work with the prosecutors and with police, so you understand that they're all a man. So the guy thinks that the person that would be in this project better would be a man. And that was the only time when I realized, oh my God, I'm a woman. that was I'm a woman, so I'm not capable for that work. But the thing is that the whole irony of that was that the guy left the project that they hired. He left the project, and then they hired me to finish this project because someone needed to finalize and work with all these prosecutors and everything. We did an amazing conferences with them, and it was like just to prove to. It wasn't like a proving to. I just did my job without saying, and they saw that it's not because of your gender or something. So yeah, that was a kind of
It's quite funny.
It is funny, but it also says we can now smile and laugh on that.
Yeah.
But if it would be on a different period of my time, maybe I would be like I would be stressed on that. Maybe I would put like being in a depression that many women are.
Yeah. Like why won't they accept it? Why can't I do this?
They just wouldn't say that. Because in everyday life they think that it's normal, but I think that this is the society shouldn't tell that it's not normal, it's not good, and all these alarms and the women that are joining and motivating each other and inspiring each other and tell that stories. This is, I think that there should be.
Yeah.
And in this community of women, female leaders. If Nikki sees me, hello Nikki. So what we told about that, yeah, she's one the woman that organized that. So we're talking about the leadership skills as well. We tell about how the different approaches in leadership of women and men. In management, it's a different approach.
Very different.
Yeah, it's a different approach.
Well,
yes, maybe.
Let's have some concluding words. What advice, if any, do you have for any women or girls who would like to pursue a similar career or life as you have?
I don't think that being a role model. Well, I just like maybe small advice, and they hear this all the time. I think the education, books education, the more you know, the more you achieve, is better for you, for self-confidence as well, and for being not just you're a person, you are like a strong person. So read books, like write.
Pursue your passions.
Yeah, pursue your passion and do what you think that you can. We all came to this world but what is the person if just you get the information and you do not share that?
Exactly.
Just a library. So if you have something that can change this world for better, why not to use that? Why not just to do and just be happy? The person can be, if you think that you are unhappy in some kind of the circumstances or something, you can change it through education.
You're not stuck.
Professional, yeah, be a professional is something. And realize yourself, your abilities, I'm sure everyone has some kind of abilities that can show to the world.
Always.
Yes.
Everyone has something they can do to contribute to make life a little bit better and easier for everyone else. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time out to come and speak with us.
Thank you for having me today.
Of course. You're welcome anytime.
Thanks a lot.
Well,
thank you.
Please subscribe to Books Sommelier on YouTube. Stay tuned and look forward to more Daryo talks coming in the near future. Thank you.